Hello, ladies and gents. Good news. Thaldrin has patched up his PC and we are into the picks and bans. No one likes to see a DQ loss. It's going to be game number two. Team Turquality facing off against Mouse Sports. I met this joined by Pulse. We're into the picks and bans here, Pulse. I believe you are still eating your tea, though, so are you back?
No, I'm not eating my tea. That would be entirely unprofessional. And I am indeed back. So we have the Lux ban coming out and the Jarvan, and we were talking during the break letters while I wasn't eating that there's different picks that they might be able to ban out because we saw that last game with Fresh being so dominant along with Zac as well, and whether they'd maybe ban those out this time round.
I feel that at least one of them, potentially both, do warrant a ban. Moops, again, is just so strong on Lux that Team Turquality just don't want any part of that. They've banned her out both games, but with the Rumble ban as well, which of course is an extremely strong top laner, has the Equalizer, which is just ridiculous in team fights, but they're still not going to be banning both. However, realizing that now TT are going to be first pick, they're doing TT a bit of a favor by banning Thresh out themselves. So Mouse have actually alleviated that pressure. I'm curious though if they're going to be going ahead and taking out Zac as well.
Yeah, for sure. And this is two games on the bounce here, no pun intended, where we had Zac. And, he's been in that top lane, we've seen him in the mid lane as well, and he's just been super, super dominant. So, it's very possible that they might ban it out, in fact, haven't. So I'd be interested here, Metas, to see if one of these teams goes ahead and picks that one up.
Yeah, well, they are going for the Nautilus pick here, Team Turquality, which was taken from Cyrus Q last time around, so obviously fearing the diver. They haven't locked it in, they're just hovering over. I am quite curious, though, if the Zac and Thresh combination was what Mouse really were playing towards. With Thresh being eliminated already, I'm not so sure they'll still run the Zac at top with Kikis, because the box and Let's Bounce put together is just so much CC. It's so difficult to escape from that damage, from all of the stun, all of the knockbacks, everything on top of each other. It's just crazy. Still, Nautilus not locked in, though, so this is fairly interesting in itself.
Yeah, so they're just kind of hovering it over at the moment. They might go for it. I mean, we were talking before in the break as well, Metas, that maybe they'll go for a more conservative team composition, because when they were in that laning phase, didn't quite go too well for them in, honestly, any lane at all. So they might go for a more conservative team composition, like Anivia, go for a more stally composition, who gets gradually stronger as the game goes on, stall it out, make it very difficult for Mouse to push it on in, and push them back, then come out strong when it comes into the mid game and late game, because we saw their team fights and they were pretty strong. We saw them come back into it a couple times with picking up a couple kills in some of the skirmishes, so they definitely have the ability to come back into it. But we do have potentially the Blitz being picked up alongside Draven. And Draven, because none of the AD carries have been banned out, Draven always nice to see. He's more of a lane domination champion, so everything I just said doesn't seem to be what TT's looking for this time round.
Especially if it's along the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is regarded as a fairly hard counter to Sona because Sona is so squishy and has no natural escape other than the flash, of course. If the grabs land, she is going to be very vulnerable to the onslaught that will ensue, especially if you have Draven with Blitz. You pull them in, stand aside, spinning axes on top of their head. Sona will drop very quickly. So this is another way of obviously, approaching the game. Is that sometimes the best way of putting out a strong defense is just by going for the jugular. Like, okay, we lost the first game. Let's just play hyper-aggressive, try and take down kills here, there, and everywhere, and steamroll this one through to a game 3. Alongside Nautilus as well, lots of ganking potential, lots of threat from the jungle. So definitely like a declaration of intent here from the Turkish team. I'm liking it.
Yeah, for sure. And we do actually have AOD locking in Elise as well. And in fact, AOD won't be picking up the Elise himself. Actually, he might do. He might do Elise support, but we have the Sona already picked by Mal, so very unlikely that's in fact going to happen. And just waiting for the picks coming in from Food Shop as well for the team of Mouse, and seeing what they bring out. But so far, it looks like pretty strong mobility. Once again, we have the Elise, who's naturally quite fast, along with Caitlyn coming out as well, so they have some strong poke down at that bot lane, and Nunu as well. So looking to be disruptive, as well as having a ton of damage in that early game. It looks like they're really looking to put themselves in a strong position for this laning phase at least. But at the same time, you have that Blitz, you have that Draven as well. Nautilus is going to be ganking a ton during this, at least the laning phase, because he is a very aggressive jungler, and now we're waiting for the last picks to really solidify their team composition.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn is by and large majoritarily picked with Nunu because his Blood Boil is just so OP with Caitlyn. She can just go Bloodthirster into Last Whisper first, sometimes see an Infinity Edge if she has a good start as well. So normally you will see Caitlyn with Nunu. Nothing to write home about there. But what I am suggesting and what I'm assuming is going to happen is that by seeing the Blitzcrank Draven lane and going Caitlyn Sona, I think Mouse want the lane switch. I think they're going to go ahead and go top lane and try and force out whoever the top laner is because Caitlyn and Sona have so much poke damage, it's difficult to lane off against them if you're on your own, especially if you're Wukong. I'm assuming that's Wukong at top. Thaldrin is their top laner with Ryze in mid. We have seen Ryze in top before as well, and it's not completely unheard of to see Wukong in mid, but I'm assuming Wukong top and Ryze mid, and I think that Mouse are going to go for the lane switch up. I don't think that's going to be a Corki. That would be a very interesting pick if he goes Corki mid.
Yeah, I mean, you could go AD carry Corki. You may even put Caitlyn mid and just have like Corki down the bottom with Sona. As you said, fairly unlikely, might not actually go for it. Hell, it could even be an AP Corki. I mean, his scalings aren't terrible. I mean, on a single target, or even in a small group as well, outputs quite a lot of damage. But got 10 seconds to lock the last pick in, and in fact, they've just locked in the Corki here, Matters.
Wow. I did not see that one coming. So let's have a look how the switches are going to come about. Maybe feeling that if Wukong does run in mid, that Corki is going to crush him because the Phosphorus Bomb when Wukong jumps into decoy form is not going to help him out. Of course, Wukong is very much a melee champion, and Corki excels at playing against melee champions because of his Gatling gun and the maneuverability he gets from Valkyrie as well. So this is very interesting. We actually saw this happening a bit in Season 2, where I believe it was Froggen played Corki in mid for a couple of games. Now, I could be off there, but I'm pretty sure it was Froggen played Corki in mid, and he played it against champions like Orianna, who are by and large going to get harassed by the constant barrage of damage that Corki brings to the table. So it has the makings of being a cracker, Paul, so I can't wait to get into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And we also saw, Corki at top lane sometimes in solo queue. He was super strong, had the right kit, got the escape, got the true damage as well. But anyway, guys, we will be jumping into a quick break. But when we get back, we will be in game for game 2 of the second best of 3 between Mouz and TT. See you soon. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back, guys, to the Riot International Invitational. And well, I'd say we're jumping into the action here, Metas, but we're actually just hitting another pause. But this game will be between Mouz and TT. This is the second game of the second series, and yeah, how are your thoughts heading on into this game, Metas? Because we've got some interesting compositions coming out from Mouz.
We do definitely have an interesting composition. The only time I've seen Corki in recent play has been from Freeze on Heimerdinger's Colossi, who runs it alongside Sona at bot lane, who of course is played by Mithy. So it's interesting to have a look at Corki in mid lane. Personally, it's not a matchup that I've seen a great deal of, so there's only so much that I can really analyze here. But I believe you had a quick look at his runes, and it made for some interesting reading. I think he's going hybrid from what you said.
Yeah, I mean, we were theory crafting about it a little bit, maybe just looking to lead into, like a Trinity Force, as you pointed out before, Metas, because he's basically gone for, basic AD runes, but into the Masteries, he's actually gone for some of the AP setups in the offense tree. So maybe that's just to bring some extra damage to the table when it comes to his Phosphorus Bomb and his Missile Barrage as well, because they both scale with AP. I mean, Valkyrie does as well, but I mean, who uses Valkyrie for an extra source of damage, in a trade? But, it's extra damage, you can definitely come in from Corki. But at the same time, he has got, pretty solid auto attacks. That being said, he might also go for a similar route as, like, AP Cannon, where he gets, a bit of AD for the extra early last hitting, extra harassment on the enemy champion as well, and then go into a more AP build. I mean, obviously, AP Corki is highly unconventional, but it can certainly happen here, Metas. They've got quite a pokey composition.
And if he does go for AP Corki, you need to take a bow because you called this in Champion Select. You're like, it could be an AP Corki. So you definitely will have earned a lot of people's respect. The mystical pulse strikes again. But as you can see, guys, we're on the pause screen right now. In fact, I don't think you can see it because we're on a different screen. But we are on the pause screen. Has been here for the last 3 minutes. Apparently, Thaldrin hadn't finished patching, and he's switching it over from the other PC. So it seems to me that they've made the game here to not get disqualified, but they actually aren't ready, which is... it's a bit sneaky, but you have to say it's pretty intelligent. They don't get DQ'd at the end of the day.
Well, that's initiative there, Metas. I mean, admitting it in all chat is probably, not the best decision in the world, but yeah, it's initiative, and I've got to pat them on the back for it because it was clever. If that's what they were aiming for, then props to Team Turquality because that was on point. But we are waiting for that to come into effect for Faldrin to swap onto that new PC. So he has actually gone for that Wukong, and we were talking about lane swaps before Metas, and they have Fu Shop, they have AOD, and I say Moopsaw because they have two AD carries, so I don't know who's going to be laning down with AOD. They may even have a Caitlyn mid and just have like hyper aggression. Who knows what they're going to do until these guys fan out. But if they do go for those swap ups, which they certainly can because their composition's so versatile in that sense, and we have Faldrin just going ahead and reconnecting, then Faldrin might not be in the greatest positions when it comes into these laning phases if he's against someone like that Corki or that Caitlyn Sona.
Yeah, it's a very kind of sketchy lane switch up potential here because it's very difficult to call. We do actually have the reconnect coming in, so I'm going to switch back to live once again to make sure I don't miss anything. But yeah, I mean, we have also seen some of the NA LCS teams, the likes of Dignitas, for example, just to mention one that often ran their AD carry and support in the mid lane to really catch the opposition mid out of position. So it's one of those kind of compositions where it could really be one of a handful of things. I can already see Caitlyn is heading up at top with Elise at bot, so maybe that is somewhat of an early clue as to what's going to happen. Looks like we are going to have the lane switch ups, which, as I said in Champion Select, does make a lot of sense. Caitlyn, Sona don't want to be playing off against Blitzcrank and Draven. If Sona gets grabbed, she will die, and she will die very often.
Yes, indeed, and so TT are just kind of moving as a group right now. They just put down the pink ward, cleared up a ward from Mouz, so they do have that, that vision around that area if they do want to go for it. But they're also moving it up into this top jungle. Flash comes down from that Blitzcrank, just missing AOD, and he also flashed out of the way. Not sure that was going to connect either way, but still, flash down from both of those supports, and another ward goes down as well. So we do have TT kind of backing off, and, that's a good trade so far.
Yeah, Flash for Flash and AOD playing the better safe than sorry game. May not have caught on, but it's not one of those things you want to risk, because if AOD had have been caught from the grab, she would have been going down. I say she because, of course, playing Sona, but he would have been going down very quickly. So you're going to have the blue team of Team Turquality picking up their wolves afterwards, more than likely blue, and on the flip side, Corki alongside AOD are helping CyrusQ taking his red. This is actually quite smart from TT. We've seen this a lot in the US Challenger Series, that when Nunu is on the red side, he likes to take his red and then go and steal the opposition's blue. By taking blue first, you eliminate that problem before it even begins.
Yeah, Halpern just going to pick that one up, and maybe Nunu going to aggress into that jungle. He's going to go for the Wraiths, in fact, so he's going for a more sustained clear, more than anything. In fact, we have Draven moving up top alongside Tyrese as well. So, in fact, that's going to be a 2 versus 2 lane. Wukong's going to be nice and happy down in that bot lane, and that extra sort of vision, I think, is really what tipped them off to that lane change, because they saw that Sona up in the top jungle. It's really a no-brainer to think, oh, we're probably going to move that bot lane up top. So to swap that up, Faldron's going to be in the best position, moving some damage onto Kickers as well. Kickers on that Elise. Elise has a strong laning phase against Wukong, who's got a less strong laning phase. So it'll be interesting to see how that works, but Wukong definitely has the potential to outplay his lane opponent.
Yeah, and this is also very small. Lots of damage actually going down. Faldron's trying his best to escape, and well, that really caught me off guard there at bot, but actually Blitzcrank is coming up. Thought he may try a sneaky grab on Fu Shop. Not going to be the case. What I was going to say previously, though, another great thing, the grab has just landed, actually. Exhaust going down instantly from AOD. They do not want to let me finish off this point. The damage coming down onto Fu Shop as well. Does have his barrier up, so going to be by and large just fine, but with all the poke and harassment being just completely thrown down at top lane, that is going to force the duo lane to recall already. So that's going to be a minor consolation and a minor victory here for TT at top. The reason why Nautilus started blue as well, which is another nice little play, is because knowing that his solo lane was at bot, it would have naturally brought him down to bot lane. So if CyrusQ tried a sneaky gank at bot, Nautilus would have been there just waiting and ready. So just smart play overall.
Yeah, for sure. And we have both junglers kind of poising around mid. We do have the Root Prison coming down onto Mouz, or CyrusQ just turns around the corner. It's like, you're not aggressing onto my mid lane, as Halpern just puts out some more damage. Staggering Blow goes down with that first auto attack. And he's just going to actually land the Dredge line with the damage coming in from Nasus as well, dropping very low. Ignite comes down from Mouz, First Blood picked up. In turn, Halpern picks up another kill. However, CyrusQ just going to realize I'm actually just going to back off and return to my jungle. But that's a 1-for-1 trade, but First Blood picked up by Nasus.
Yeah, and you have to say it was worth, because even though he did die afterwards, both mid laners are dead. Neither of them gets a huge advantage. The only downside is that Team Turquality's mid is pushing the mid tower, so Corki is going to lose a bit of this farm, but with the First Blood, not going to be too bothered. Looking at the build, Tear of the Goddess into the Dawn's Blade. Similar build that Mithy goes, Freeze goes for Heimerdinger's Colossi. Finishes off the Tear of the Goddess, goes into a Mana Moon as you'd expect, goes for Vampiric Scepter afterwards, and then builds it into a Bloodthirster. Quite curious to see if Mouz is going to go the same way.
Yeah, definitely could do, and it does look like he's going to go for that, standard AD carry. However, he's just gone for the Tear of the Goddess. So yeah, he might go for that sort of build here, metas, and interesting to see how he does it, because obviously Corki mid is not something we see all day, and the build is up in the air at this point, and it's not something that you can really theorycraft about. But we do have Halpern coming in for another gank. Dredge Light comes down, and good Valkyrie will keep him out of harm's way, and that's another strength for Corki mid. Apparently, he's very difficult to gank.
Yeah, Valkyrie's a great escaping tool. Corki typically does very well against either melee champions or short-range champions. Ryze does not have a great amount of range with his auto attacks or his abilities, which is going to allow Corki to stand right in front of him and pop off the Gatling gun, which is going to do lots and lots of damage. On top of that, when he gets towards level 6 as well, has the missile barrage, and it's the kind of AD carry as well that struggles a lot early game pulse because he's very mana hungry. But if you get to mid to late, hold the thought, because CyrusQ is coming around from the backside, just putting some harassment down, nothing else. But as I was going to say, when you get to mid to late, his mana issues cease to be a problem, and that's when his serious damage starts to come in. We mentioned this in Champion Select on top of everything else, that you gotta say there's a lot of threats on the side from Mouz here. In team fights, who are you gonna focus? You got Caitlyn, Corki, Elise, and Cyrus Q all in your face at the same time.
Yeah, they have a very sort of kitey team composition where they can kind of hang back. You got, you know, a decent front line of Cyrus Q. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's basically just Cyrus Q. It's on Nunu. But you have that absolute zero coming in, kind of keeping them away with the slowdown, and you also have abilities just to kind of keep them at range. That's what they can do. On the flip side, though, you have Team Turquality with such a strong engage composition. And even if they get into this sort of siege position, even if it's from the hands of Mouz as well, when they're sieging, you have the threat of Tyrese on that Blitzcrank, then the lockdown from Rise as well, that Rune Prison. And meanwhile, bottom, we have some aggression coming in from Kickers. I'm not sure if he's actually going to go with the Cyclone. He does, coming onto those Spiderlings as well, will be taking them down. It looks like Kickers is going to back off, and we do have the blue buff now going down as well. Moopzor just coming in with the... with Cyrus Q, but the pull comes in from Tyrese, picking up that kill. Will indeed pick it up himself, but 3 versus 2, great reactions from those lanes will result in the in a pickup. However, Nautilus was forced to smite that blue, so Rise isn't going to have it just for the meantime.
That's a very good point. Rise without blue is going to hurt him, but this is going to hurt Cyrus Q much harder, because not only has he lost his life, but he's about to lose his red buff as well. So he's starting to fall behind Nautilus at this point. Rise is flashing up red. Lots of damage from Moopzor. He's actually flashing in himself. Will take down Rise. Beautiful play from Corki mid. And, well, who's to say that he's not going to completely snowball this game out of control? He is head-to-head right now, though, with Nautilus doing a lot of damage. Gatling gun's been popped off. He's really giving as good as he's getting, though, but forced to go backwards as Cyrus Q will come in to help him out. Missile barrage is landing at the back. But again, Corki mid looking strong here. Rise is about 20 CS behind and 0 for 2.
Yeah, and it's just showing the power of Corki mid right now as Tyrese starts to get aggressive in AOD, and in fact, it's just a pink ward battle happening up in that top lane. And I always find those battles the most interesting here, messes as Fushop gets forced to back off. The rocket grab comes in as well, just whiffing that Fushop. And they are trading off once again, the extra damage coming out, and I just want to keep on this because any second, one good grab could result in a trade just hitting off immediately.
Yeah, so true. And that's why Blitzcrank has so much presence in lane against Sona. Because, as we mentioned before, the lane switch up came in. They didn't want to re-switch because they'd start to lose a lot of experience in CS. But Blitzcrank is a hard counter to Sona. You land grabs on her, Draven is going to have a field day. Look how much they're being zoned back. Draven 76 CS, Caitlyn 57. So again, that presence really paying out dividends for top lane. And this is almost a different Team Turquality. Speaking of which, at the bot right now, their top laner is going to find himself dead, courtesy of the Spider Queen on Kikis. So I was about to say this is a much stronger showing, but they are still slightly behind.
That being said, we have Halpern looking to get aggressive as well. Cyrus Q just going to find himself Halpern, popping down the absolute zero, flashes out, just taking down the Titans, Wrath and Kickers, just going to walk on out of there. So great timing from both of these junglers, just all over the board. But meanwhile, top the grab comes down onto AOD, lock up with the knock up as well, and the ultimate comes in. Will be enough with the bleeds and the ignite, not quite, as AOD just runs away with his tail between his legs. And meanwhile, mid, Corki stomping down his aggression once again, forcing that Rise back. And it looks like they will be aggressing onto Halpern once again as he just moves around that Drake pit, taken down. And right now it's 4-2 to Mouz and already edging ahead in this game, Metas.
Yeah, but I have to say that even though Nautilus died, he did stop Drake from being picked up. Top lane, Blitzcrank is flashing up red. Ace in the hole coming down. Going to be blocked out from Draven with the smooth moves. But indeed, Nautilus did manage to stop off the Drake. So in that sense, I'd say it's worth it. His life for that global goal, definitely worth the risk and also the trade.
Yeah, for sure. So right now we have Rise just returning into this mid lane, and I think one of the lanes I'm most interested in right now here, Messers, is definitely that Corki lane, to see how he's matching up. And so far we've seen so much aggression. He's already 2-1 and 0-2 on that Rise as well. And it looks like he's going for the Vamp Step. He's already got the Tear of the Goddess. More aggression goes down at bot lane as Kickers gets aggressive. Flash comes down as well. Kickers not quite looking for that dive, but they have the Teleporter now coming in from Rise, looking to secure this one up. Not going to quite happen. Duke into the brush, looking to get aggressive. aggressive as well, but SRSQ just jumping out of the brush, very scary sight to see as you're trying to chase that Elise down. But meanwhile at top, we do have Nautilus looking maybe to get this gank off as well, while just chilling out in the brush as AOD getting aggressive. Stand aside comes down, Halpern makes his appearance, Pull goes down into the knockup, and then in fact Halpern just tags him with an auto attack before he drops immediately to Draven. And however, that means it looks like Mouz just going to try and convert this into a Drake pickup down at bot lane.
Yeah, and this is going to be completely for free. Wukong was below half health, isn't even going to try and get rid of the onslaught on Drake, and in doing so it's going to be a free Drake and a free top lane, though, in retaliation from Team Turquality. You know, Drake will be respawning, that top tower, however, will not be. So they're definitely putting on a better performance this time round, Pulse, which I'm very glad to see. The Draven and Blitzcrank lane has been completely crushing Caitlyn, Sona. Unfortunately, though, from the Turkish perspective, their other two lanes not quite having as good a time. Ryze is being forced back very aggressively from Corki, who's now 35 CS ahead of him. He is going to get some damage down on him, though, but will Valkyrie away. Meanwhile, at bot, let's have a quick look. Wukong on 47 CS to Elise's 80. So yes, the duo lane won, but the other two are getting fairly hard beaten.
Yeah, and when they transition into the team fights, it's probably going to show the same sort of story. However, Draven doing so well, he's a large source of damage right now. That being said, they've picked up that top turret, so Draven Blitzcrank just going to go ahead and roam about the map, might be able to pick up some global advantages like this mid turret. Corki was forced back, SRSQ pull goes down from Tyrese, not quite connecting with AOD. Probably his prime target. Crescendo comes down, however. Dredgeline whiffs. SRSQ looking to get aggressive. Flash comes down into the exhaust. Knock up during the Valkyrie. Ultimate comes down with a whirling death. With Tyrese just trying to get out of there. However, we do have Nasus coming back into the fray. Picking up that kill onto Nunu. Now Mouzor in hot retreat along with AOD. Dredgeline lands once again into the Rune Prison. Straight on the Overload, picking up a double kill. And all of a sudden, Metas, it looks like the Turkish team coming back into contention.
Yeah, Kikis did pick up another kill onto Thaldron at bot, though, while hell was breaking loose in mid. And as you called in the fight, that was a beautiful knock-up from Blitzcrank. Midway through the Valkyrie, saving Draven. You don't understate how awesome that play was. Ryze coming in at the back, picking up a couple of kills. That's going to be 2-0 tower trade. And for the first time in this best of three, Team Turquality are ahead on gold. As I say that, though, curse of the commentator, because bot tower just fallen and will scumbag that gold lead away. Blitzcrank tried to land the grab to stop the recall, but a Spiderling did block it. So trolls all over the board here.
Yes, indeed. So they are currently ahead in gold, that being from Mouz, but 2 towers down for TT means they have more map advantage. They can start putting down those aggressive wards and pushing them further back into their jungle, at least in that top sort of area. And honestly, as we get closer or longer into this game, I should say here, Metas, then Baron's going to become more of an issue. And if they have that advantage up at top lane and in that mid lane as well, they're going to have more advantage when it comes to vision and map control. So they might be able to go for that. But Free Sharp just pushing in that turret. Just as Wukong returns to lane and doesn't really want to stick around, because even a 0 and 2 Wukong can be a pretty scary threat for an AD carry. But Kickers find himself grabbed as Lefillian puts down the damage, but Kickers coming in with some damage of his own, but bringing down the Venomous Bite. Repel comes out, the shutdown comes in from Draven, picking up that kill very, very confidently alongside Blitzcrank. Wards matter here, Matters.
Draven's getting huge. Corki, though, is trying to tap her on the shoulder, so yeah, Draven's scary, but so am I. Missile barrage is landing thick and fast, needs to be careful. His Blitzcrank will land the grab, the stand aside as well, and that is going to signify the end of the pilot. He is falling down. SRSQ's being chased out from Nautilus, but neither of them are too interested in this fight. But you gotta say that TT are coming back with a vengeance. Their AD carry is on fire, and Ryze is slowly but surely building up some serious pace. Dredgeline has landed. Foo Shop is not long for this world, you have to feel. The crescendo is very nice, though. In the meantime, that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Draven is still up alive and kicking. Depth charge will land as well. Here comes teleport from the side, and Ryze finishes it off nicely. Team Turquality are on fire.
Yeah, and I was just watching Draven chunk down those health bars, just basically standing still. The axe is rebounding, so much damage coming out, and as you said, TT looking right on fire. And I've got to say, a lot of well, what's brought them back into this game. This is Blitzcrank, that Tyrese. Cyclone goes down, however, by Faldrin, cancelling that immediately. Speed himself up with Kickers on hot pursuit. With Repel coming down, doesn't quite connect, as he's not able to click it before he just gets out of that circle. But yeah, Tyrese doing massive amounts of work, 1, 1, and 5. 6 of those 9 kills is basically because of his grabs. And right now they're in a good position. Aggressive Wars goes down, all the outer turrets out for Team Turquality, and it's looking good here, Metas.
My concern for Mouse Gaming right now is that we've seen this before, Mouse Sports I should say, apologies, but that we've seen them in this position before against Heimerdinger's Colossi, where they're down towers, they're down kills, they're down gold, and they've struggled. Now Heimerdinger's Colossi are obviously a completely different beast to Team Turquality, but they do run similar champions. They run the Draven, they run the Nautilus as well, and they like to make big plays happen. So from Mouse Sports' perspective, I am getting a little bit worried for them, because they are definitely starting to fall behind. The momentum, something that we've talked about time and time again, Pulse and League of Legends, which is such a massive, massive thing, is definitely in the hands of the Turkish. And I am curious to see if Mouse can stave off this onslaught or indeed retort back onto it. They're trying to do just that right now, but this is the thing about Blitzcrank. He's not just a huge presence in laning phase, but he's a presence throughout the game. You try and do a Baron, Blitzcrank grabs you, suddenly it's a 4 versus 5. He can get sneaky grabs through walls when you least expect it, and you constantly have to put wards down just to counteract him. So he's a very, very good player, Tyrese, and he's a very strong Blitzcrank. He's going to continually try to land grabs. While I'm speaking now, top lane, actually, Wukong is going to die again. So he's been somewhat of the bully this matchup, 0 and 3.
Yeah, but however, having a strong team means you can, well, cover up for some of those weaknesses, and the main thing we're sitting right here is they're just going to convert the jungler being top straight into a Drake. We've seen it time and time again, but we do have Mouz looking to make a strong push down mid, but so quickly they took down that Drake means they can maybe pull another member of that Mouz team into their group, into that meat grinder. They have 2 pulls, none of them actually connected, but at least taking down that top turret, so they do have some recourse. But had one of those hooks landed, you could feel that they'd be in a nasty position as AOD finds himself, well, at least seen by Halpern, looking for that Dretch line. Nice Duke from AOD, means he's kept out of harm's way. But the rest of the Turkish team just moving around, finds himself Kickers. He does, however, have that repel to maybe get out of the danger zone, but Halpern doesn't quite have the Dredge line already whiffing it down the mid, and Tyrese dropping low, the ace in the hole comes out, and we do have the damage coming in from Draven. Nice Duke, in fact, will hit Faldrin, but AOD just getting chunked down. The Nimbus Strike comes in, picks up that kill, and Corki has a very long range death charge, as we have Halpern getting aggressive on food shot once again. The ultimate comes in, however, gets completely deleted from that rise as they push down mid. 2-0 trade, Blitzcrank survives, and TT are just in such a dominating position.
Yeah, it was a nice little juke, but AOD slightly, I'm not going to say whiffing, but it wasn't a perfect ultimate. Just landing the one player. Kickers has been caught from the Dredge line, jumping in here. Cyclone as well, on top of Mouz, who's forced to Valkyrie away, and in doing so will secure the kill on Elise. In the meantime, though, Blitzcrank has fallen to the hands of Kickis, but the damage you have to feel is being done. And the more I think about the Blitzcrank pickup, the more I actually like it. You look at the composition from Mouz, they've got a lot of threats, they've got a lot of, damage, but they don't have a big front line apart from Cyrus Q. You have a Blitzcrank, you kind of just completely mitigate and avoid the frontline issue. If you get grabs, you get a pick, and suddenly it's a 4 versus 5, and you can just steamroll over the opposition. Nunu will not be able to stop a 4 versus 5. So Blitzcrank, to me, Paul, seems like an absolutely masterful decision, and you have to say that Tyrese has been playing exquisitely on it.
Yeah, and as you said, the more you think about it, it makes sense. They've in fact built their team composition around getting picks. I mean, they have the Dredge line from Nautilus, the single target lockdown, along with Blitzcrank. It's just, it's looking really good, along with Rise as well with the Ruin Prison. But as you said, if you swap up or remove one of those components from the strong sort of kitey team comp of Mouz, they're not able to go for those team fights, they can't keep them at range, and then they're on the back foot, and they have very little recourse. When you have also the Draven being so fed, alongside Rise as well, gold in the right places. When it goes into those 5 versus 4 sieging situations, they're in a very good position to trunk down those turrets. So everything's really going quite well for them. We say this, they're only 2k ahead. However, the way the game's been going and the pace of the game has been so controlled by TT, you're in a good position to extend this gold lead.
Yeah, even though the gold lead isn't huge, the momentum has definitely been stacked on their favour, because 2 out of the 3 lanes were losing in the laning phase for Team Turquality. So the fact that they are winning now just goes to show, just gives testament to how well Draven has managed to take over his advantage in lane and just force it into the team fight situations, and how well the composition from TT has been utilised thus far. That keyword that you've mentioned, the execution of their comp, has been by and large very, very strong. And now you can see that Mouz are back in their side of the map. They're not really feeling confident to 5 versus 5, and Team Turquality have a certain air of confidence, almost arrogance about them. They're like, we're just going to push down mid, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. Second tower mid, gone. Now where are they going to go? Probably just going to steal some more jungle, rinse and repeat, and try and choke out Mouz Sports. And to be honest to them, they've got the right composition to do this. Look where Blitzcrank is hiding. They're trying to catch Mouz Sports off guard, very, very nearly doing so onto Kickers. That would have been a kill.
Yeah, and if I was Kickers right there, I definitely would have browned my pants, because that was so close. Almost within the Spiderling's range, and that was very close indeed. But down at bot lane, they are looking for the strong push. They have decent wave clear. I mean, they have the Rocket Barrage, and they also have the Phosphorus Bomb leading into the Piltover as well. It's not completely amazing, but it's enough to repel this minion wave at least. But you can only feel that at any time one of those hooks is going to land, and Hook City will just return once again with those dread lines, with those rocket grabs. One hook could completely turn this. However, hooking the wrong person, hooking that Nunu, then you can immediately get that engage happening. And we just have Sarasky moving around the side, just pushing Faldrin around the corner, and that will be a 4 versus 5 just at the moment. Piltover goes down as well, along with the depth charge. Actually lands the dredge line on the max range. Faldrin moves in and actually picks up the kill onto, or assists in the kill onto Nunu. And now Mouz once again on the back foot as they look for another pick. Roombas and lands. Barrier goes down, but the shutdown comes in onto Rise. We actually have the Cyclone coming in once again. Kickers jumping into that Zhonya's form, and Faldrin will be dropping. And we'd have the Felion once again also dropping alongside his allies. In fact, Faldrin didn't die, it was indeed his clone as they continue the chase. Halpern has recalled, and his team are in basically retreat right now. Kick is looking to follow up and moves on to the clone once again. And the team fight didn't go quite too well, but we still have the chase still continuing here as Repel goes down, doesn't quite get the vision and the lockdown onto that Wukong, but we has found himself a Halpern in exchange. However, we have Moobzor now coming in all the way around, coming full circle, looking to pick up this kill onto Nautilus, finding himself now in a bad position as the hook just whiffs coming in from Tyrese, but actually lands the dredge line, actually pulls him out of the way. Had he carried on going though, the lead actually would have hit their Vetters.
Oh man, you know that team fight that happened before? I don't want to sound too harsh, but both teams kind of threw it away. AOD flashed into Crescendo and landed it on one person, and doing so put himself away from the rest of his team. But then, you know, Team Turquality just went too aggressive, and they thought in 4 versus 5 they were by and large invulnerable. Hold on to that thought. Valkyrie has been utilized in mid from Moobzor, who will escape, but then TT just got too aggressive. Rise got caught, and it was like this back and forth exchange. Then Kickers got caught. It was just really, really strange. I am fairly surprised that AOD flashed into Crescendo when the rest of his team didn't really look ready, Pulse. I wonder if there's a bit of a lapse in communication there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first sort of time Mouz has been behind, so I wouldn't really blame them for some miscommunication, but we do have Sarasky just being caught straight into the rocket grab, and when you're caught in all that CC, you're not going to survive for too long, and they will now maybe transition, well, they're at least going to sweep the jungle, but maybe transitioning this into another turret. Ping goes down onto Baron as well. Maybe one of the teams going to go for this, most likely going to be TT. However, Mouz in a good position maybe to contest it, but it does indeed look like TT just going to convert this into a top turret.
And that's the strength of their composition with Blitzcrank. He's going to land grabs and he's going to make kills out of nothing. And Cyrus Q had a long death chamber there, And it's allowed the opposition of Team Turquality just to pretty much push top for free. They don't have to worry. Elise is in mid along with Rise, but remember that Rise has teleport, and they are starting to push the envelope at the top lane. So this is going to be the second lane that loses both towers. Both top and mid are in that position, which is going to give Team Turquality so much presence in Mouz's jungle. They're going to be able to steal these reds, the Wraith Camps, the double golems, whenever they please. They're also maybe going to be able to get some picks off here as well. Cyrus Q is at the front. He is the front line, and he's already dead alongside AOD. Depth charge landing on Fushar. He goes down in a blink of an eye. Draven with a double kill. The Rune Prison will land on Moopsaw, but he Valkyries away. But still, that was a 3-for-0 exchange, and the reason it was made is because of that constant presence, that constant pressure in the jungle, and very little ward coverage that Mouz could put down. And that's more than likely going to basically equate itself into a free Baron, unless Kikis can pull off something ridiculous. Doesn't look likely. He's been knocked in the air, popping off the Zhonya's hourglass, but that's just going to delay the inevitable, because here comes Draven from the back, and he's going to go on a rampage. 9-1-6 with a Baron buff on top. It's looking pretty precarious for Mouz.
Yes, indeed, and they're just going to be able to chunk down that Baron with the extra damage from the spinning axes on Draven as well. So good at taking those objectives. And they have a very sort of meat grinder team. They have the pulls straight into all that damage, the lockdown coming in from Rise, the huge amounts of damage coming in from Draven. It's just absolutely perfect. And with Tyrese being so on point with those grabs, along with Halpern as well, it's just you get dragged in, you're away from your team for just a split second, down in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye, as you said, Metas, and all of a sudden, it's so difficult for Mouz. They can't get into a team fight because straight up they'll just lose. There's too much damage coming in from TT, and if they just sit back and they try to, play the siege game where they just stay at their turret, they're just going to get pulled out by Tyrese straight into that meat grinder.
Yeah, Lethelian is just having an awesome game right now. He definitely deserves a pat on the back, because remember, in the laning phase, they were winning one lane, losing two. But they've managed to convert it into a team fight victory thus far in the game. 5-3 towers, a Baron buff, and also 3.9k gold in advantage. All looking good, I should say, in favour of Team Turquality. Mouz Sports pretty much now have just got to turtle in. They can't really push back because, as I mentioned before, with both mid and top towers down, there's going to be such a lack of vision in their own jungle. And because they're against this hyper poke combo, in fact, hold that thought, because we've got a 1-for-1 trade going down with both Corki and Draven falling. Unfortunately, Pulse, I apologise, I did not catch that, did you?
Yeah, we just have Mouzor popping out of that bot brush, but however, hold that for just for a second because Tyrese gets jumped on. Crescendo comes down as well onto Rise and alongside that Blitzcrank. Turning this one around though, Faldrin coming in. He does have his ultimate up as well. Halpern is just hanging around as well. AOD dropping low. Cyclone goes down, doesn't quite connect with anyone just yet. Hits the Foo Shop though. Foo Shop trying to get out of there, follows up with a Nimbus Strike, picks up that kill in quick succession along with Sona as well. Now Cyrus Q trying to run away. Dredge line lands, looking for this Quattro to come out of Faldrin. Just one more auto attack, and in fact, that's just Halpern picking it up.
Wow, it's just ridiculous. Like, Wukong had a really rough laning phase, but because of his Cyclone and because of the amount of CC on his team and tankability in frontline, he's just been allowed to pick up a hatful of kills. Now I'm not looking too bad. But as I was saying before, all the hell broke loose. Because of the composition that Team Turquality is locking down, when you don't have vision, that's really where Blitzcrank excels, because he's just going to camp in a bush, he's going to camp in a place where he knows there's a lot of routes being taken, and he's going to pick you up, take you down, and then they're going to just pretty much extend their lead over towers, expose the weaknesses and vulnerabilities, rinse and repeat until they win the game. Even though Mouz did get a fair few kills in that last exchange, they're not getting any towers for it, Pulse. They're not retorting back onto this map dominance that currently Team Turquality have in their back pocket. So they can trade all they want. They need towers. They need objectives.
Yeah, for sure, that's an excellent point, because Mouz right now, they're actually, despite losing the team fight, still keeping in team fight away from their base, and they're not making any ground in terms of getting closer to those objectives. Well, most important objectives right now are those inhibitor turrets, so they can move on to the inhibitors and start pushing in all those lanes. Good news for TT is that they're winning the team fights very confidently. More team fights they win, more gold they get, more tanky they get, and tower dives become more of a they become on the cards basically for Team Turquality. So Mouz gotta be careful, but they do have a decent ability to keep themselves down. It looked like that grab went straight for that minion for Cyrus Cube, but I'm not sure if that was just what I saw on my screen.
Yeah, it looked same to me. I was like, oh, okay, that was a bit strange, but yeah, this is one of the strengths of Team Turquality is their sieging capabilities are so strong. They've got the dredge line, Hook City, as you mentioned before, the dredge line, and the grab from Blitzcrank. It's very difficult to stay behind your tower when you have two huge engages kicking off any potential second. Oh, the grab narrowly missing, nearly landed onto Earth's tail there actually on Moopsaw's Corky, but had that have landed, we would have seen a big team fight ensuing. However, not being the case, they're just going to go back. They've seen that the Wraith Camp has respawned, they're going to pick that one up. Drake is also respawned, it's completely free if they so choose, and this is the strength that they currently have.
Yeah, and it's in the siege situation, and they are clearing those waves pretty damn fast from Mouz. But those hooks, if they land one good grab, they can pick someone off 4 versus 5, and then either Mouz can just fight, or they have to run away and stick at their turret once again, and then probably have it pushed in because it's a 4 versus 5. So, very, very precarious position right now for Mouz. However, we do have TT just backing off, picking up Drake. It's another advantage they can pick up. Bot turret's also pushing in. Might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Very true, but the one thing that Team Turquality have to keep in the back of their mind is, yes, they have a big advantage now, and this is a problem that a lot of teams do have a problem with, and that's finishing the game, getting past the finishing line. If Team Turquality give Mouz enough chance in this game to pick up more items, to pick up more farm, Kikis is going to be head-to-head very soon. Teleport coming in the meantime, Cyclone flashing in on Kikis. He's popped this on his Hourglass. They get Rune Prison straight afterwards. So much damage coming down. And also on top of that, he's got a Nautilus to contend with. That's going to be a free kill. And again, it's that scary kind of map presence that Mouz simply don't have, which is allowing Team Turquality to put down wards everywhere. Look at the vision around blue. They've got 2 wards right next to each other, so they knew where Kikis was before Kikis even did there. But just going back to what I was saying before, because they are stalling for so long here, if they stall for the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, they're going to be able to get some farm, but also on top of that, the death chambers are going to start to tick down for longer. So in those senses, if you get an ace, it starts to hurt Team Turquality much more, and it can start to retort back onto this tower advantage. Speaking of which, Moopsaw did take down the second top tower as we were talking about Kikis being picked up. Tower for a kill, worth it. Now going on to Draven, who was in no man's land. It's picked up for completely free. Flash in, crescendo as well. AOD just dropping the bomb, and this is looking really bad for Team Turquality. That's going to be the shutdown for Corky, and suddenly in the blink of an eye, it all goes down the toilet. They might not be able to necessarily push down an inhib, but they're going to get some towers, they're going to get some kind of a reaction, and it's going to give them some confidence. And I'm scratching my head. Draven's had a beautiful game thus far, but he was so far out of position in the front lines. It's like the worst place for Draven to ever be.
Yeah, one slip up and Mouz can just turn this game completely around, and already moving on to Baron. That was such perfect timing. Pick up 2 kills, straight onto Baron. And there's very little they can do really to contest as Halpern back at base does have those home guard boots, but he's not going to be there in time before this goes down, nuking that down so quickly with basically what is 2 AD carries. And Mouz are actually gone for that Muramana as well. So as we get later on into this game, 2 AD carry is going to become a serious issue. And that team fight going so well in favor of Mouz. In fact, those 2 picks just means that they're able to get out of the base and get things done.
Yeah, they kill Draven, they get the shutdown gold, and on top of that, a Baron now rises out of position. So it's just going from bad to worse. However, he's not going to get caught out. Recalling round the side. Kikis and also AOD not quite cottoning on to what happened, but again, this is what I was saying before, that TT look like they're having a bit of a struggle to close this game out. In doing so, it's that 1 or 2 lapses in concentration that suddenly give your opposition team that glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel, which is now what Mouz Sports have. It's well and truly game on now, Pulse. 35 minutes through, just a 3.2k gold advantage in favour of Team Turquality, but they're against a Baron up team. So whereas 5 minutes ago they were looking like it was pretty much game, set and match, 5 minutes later, complete head turner. Completely the opposite way around.
Yes, indeed. And the later into this game we get, Mouse 2 AD carries going to become an issue. And if TT are going to push this in, they had to be in that position they were, as you said, 5 minutes ago, where they can just keep pushing them in, win those team fights, get some objectives. They can't let it go on, basically. If you're against that type of setup, it's not really viable for them. Because, however, if they do get some pickups, it's going to be okay. But if they get into those team fights later on into this game, it's going to be completely in the opposite direction, and they have to stay into this game metas, because lose this game, they're out of this tournament. So they need this game to stay into this best of 3, and Mal's now on the aggression.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in mentality between the two sides. Before Team Turquality were pushing down the front door, they were knocking down the inhib tower of Mouse Sports. Now, complete switch around with the Baron buff, with the newfound confidence of, AOD flashing in with a beautiful crescendo and turning the team fight on its head. They're now pushing down the front door of Team Turquality's base. So, total flip side. But that being said, they have to be careful, because the same threats that they were facing in the first 35 minutes of this game are still there. Blitzcrank can still land grabs onto the tower. The Dredger line can still kick off a big team fight if someone gets caught out of position. So Mouse Sports don't want to get too aggressive. They don't want to get too confident here. Otherwise, they could find themselves 6 foot under.
Yeah, for sure. And we're in this very dangerous situation, and so many times in this game we found ourselves in a siege situation, and so many times we found the Blitzcrank grab, which has just started off this team fight in a good situation. In fact, this time we have a crescendo landing as Halpern pops down the depth charge as well, getting completely chunked down. The Whirling Depth comes in along with the Cyclone as well, but the exhaust comes out, locking him down immediately. The ultimate comes in from Blitzcrank, but there's a Rampage coming in from Mouz, and 1-0 so far, but Lefillian only person in healthy condition for TT. As they continuously push back, all of them have to retreat as this mid turret goes down, and transitioning into that inhibitor as well here.
This is just such a colossal turnaround. Now, Team Turquality are trying to make something happen. Standing Knight's gone down. Kickers gets completely decimated. AOD's been pulled in the meantime, but Moopsaw's Bylage free at the backlines to do whatever he pleases. Double kill though. Caitlyn falls, and now Draven is going on a rampage. The red mist has descended. He is bloodthirsty. But that's not going to happen. The speed up and the blood boil, courtesy of both CyrusQ and AOD, is going to get them out of dodge. Even though Tyrese is desperate to land a grab to make amends there. Because that team fight was a bit rough at first. He actually grabbed a minion. He was trying to grab AOD, but the minion was just in the way. Unfortunate. Top lane though, there's lots of damage coming down here. Corki's trying his best. Oh, so close with the grab, but so far at the same time. Depth charge will be landing. Flash through as well. Corki's going very low. He did have a Guardian's Angel. Still has it up. CyrusQ falls though. And now they're pushing down this top inhib. Wow, but this is just so backwards and forwards. Just like two heavyweight boxers duking it out in the center of the ring. One team takes an inhib, the other one just retorts straight away. And in fact, they're going one better with the Nexus Tower, but the crescendo comes across, lands on 4 players. Corky's now back to full HP with the Guardian's Angel, and they're crushing down Draven. That's a double kill, looking for his triple kill, and it's gonna be the triple kill. Beautiful turnaround, but my god, this is like a seesaw of League of Legends.
Definitely here. It's just absolutely crazy. As you said, 2 heavyweight boxers duking it out in the ring. And they picked up that top inhib, so inhib for inhib. But right now, the next 30-40 seconds are going to be very, very scary, as only person remaining is Faldrum. We're going to have to see some heavy plays coming out. Cyclone going to have to hit tons of the members of Mouz to make a difference. Because right now, he is basically the last man standing against an army, being pushed in, and it looks like they will just progress onto these double Nexus turrets and try to do some damage. Therese coming up in about 7 seconds. He only has about 15 seconds left to just keep himself alive, keep themselves in this game. And Faldrin looks to get aggressive. Cyclone goes down to Food Shop as well. Aegis of the... not Aegis of the Legion, the other item, but Faldrin jumping onto Kickers. Kickers now diving that turret as well. And so much damage coming out, actually jumping onto that clone. Kickers actually falling down so low, popped into that Zhonya's, and will be picking up that kill, however. Meanwhile, the rest of the team has respawned from Team Turquality. Moving on to CyrusQ, the ultimate comes down, no lockdown to keep that from happening, but the damage is very minimal. Fushop just keeping him at range, laying down the hurt. Tyrese lands a perfect grab onto AOD, chunking her down with left Villian and Nessus behind him. And Fushop, CyrusQ alongside Kickers will just be running away from that base. Not too much damage caused In fact, to Nexus turrets falling as that action happened at that top turret.
Yeah, I believe the item we were looking for was Locket of the Iron Solari that was popped off there, but Jesus, this has been an awesome game, Pulse. Just backwards and forwards. This game could have already ended like 4 times. But both teams really stepping it up. I've got to give massive props there to Thaldrin, who did die, but in the process bought his team enough time to go ahead and to get rid of the opposition. Just like push them out the base. Yes, he went down, but he went in, and a lot of fortitude there with the Cyclone as well. Just jumping on the opposition and saying, nope, you're not taking our Nexus Towers, go away. But they did actually take the Nexus Towers, so it didn't quite work out. However, the Nexus is still up. That's the important thing. It's also on full HP, so it hasn't taken much of a beating. Still, 41 minutes through the game, gold is near enough on the money. Not a great deal at 41 minutes, to be honest. 9-6 towers is a nice global advantage in Mouse Sports' favour, but we've seen this time and time again. If Blitz can land that pixel-perfect grab, suddenly the game could very well be over. It's really going to come down to who gets the next ace and who gets the next ace comfortably. Baron is up, is now another point of contention, and all 10 players are going to be congregating around this area. This is a real nail-biter here, Pulse.
Yeah, for sure. And as we jump down into this Baron pit, both teams kind of moving around their own respective jungles. And you can only help but feel this is probably going to be the next point of contention. Both teams vying for control in this game, and if they are going to make something happen, it's going to be around this Baron. In fact, TT are just going to be the aggressors. Go for that Baron first. And they've got to be careful, because if they do get aggressed upon, they're going to have less resistances. They're chucking it down so quickly. The pole comes down into Mouz as well. Crescendo comes down as well. They're filling just in that back line. Kicker's jumping it on into that Zonyas as well. The ultimate coming from Sarasky getting chunked down, however. The Guardian Angel comes in for Rise as well. Thaldrin on the back lines. We have the standard side not quite connecting with the rest of the team from Mouz. Fushop running away as well, but that's a 1-for-0 trade. Baron went down for TT as well. It looks like Elise is also getting chased out, just being popped into that Guardian Angel. Leftillian looking to clean up the mess. Shutdown comes in, 2-for-0 and the Baron. And right now it looks like TT are looking to put the last nails in this coffin. Teleport came in from Rise looking to cut off Food Shop, and it looks like they are just going to see this one in, Metas.
That's the pixel perfect grab I was talking about. Taking Corki into the middle of your team on Baron and just instantly nuking him down. That's a massive piece of the puzzle out of the equation. And from there on in, they managed to get the smite onto Baron. Another grab here. Cyrus Q is not long for this world unless they go ahead and just focus Fushop first, which is the main damage threat. So smart play. It's going to be 1. It's going to be 2. In fact, Cyrus Q somehow manages to survive. But in this 3 versus 5 situation, can they realistically stop the Nexus from falling? I don't think it's likely. Moopsaw's trying his best. Cyclone and Crescendo are being used respectively. Cyrus Q is trying his best here, but I think the inhibs just respawned. It's scumbag this one out as the Nexus looks certain to fall. They've taken it down again, and they will pick it up finally. I thought we were going to have some ridiculous dramatic end there with the inhib scumbagging out Team Turquality, but it's going to go to a 1-1.
Yeah, indeed. Mal's not quite able to push them back and push them away from that Nexus. But absolutely crazy game and crazy series here, Metas, because the first game went to Mal's very, very confidently, and it looked like the second game was going to be a rinse and repeat of that first game. TT showing that's definitely not the case, with just all their team operating so well as a unit. Not much more to say there, Metas.